Raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, Bhakta Benjamin.
Thank you, Gurudev. So we've been hearing a lot about how the mind shouldn't be attached to impersonal liberation and going to Vaikuntha. So my question is, if we've reached either of these destinations, we know that they're timeless. Does the jiva who's reached these destinations ever get a chance to go serve Radha and Krishna and Braj, or are they permanent?
Yes, very good question. Ganatimarandhasa Gyanandanaslakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Generally, it is considered that if someone will attain the Brahmajyoti, then it's over. And it is true. But there is some, in the commentary on Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there it is mentioned that it may happen that sometimes a great personality like Narad, he may be passing through the Brahmajyoti, and by his mercy, someone may be liberated from being liberated. And they may have a chance, by the mercy of the Lord, coming through his pure devotee, to take a body and do sadhana and attain higher destination. Also, though Vaikuntha is considered to be final, yet still there is a chance. Sometimes great personalities like Narad, they go to Vaikuntha, and by their association, some inspiration may come, and he may want to go further. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu appears, he appears with the devotees of all different avatars as well. And by the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, there's also a chance that persons in a particular bhav, they can realize the mood of Vrindavan. This has been written by Kavi Kanapur. It was a benediction given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the end of Chaitanya Chandradoya Natakam. But you should know that if a person, let's say they have a mood of friendship to Krishna in Dwarka, but they appear in Gaura Lila, then Mahaprabhu may make them an associate of Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. But they retain that form because it Prakash Bhed, Abhiman Bhed. So they will remain in the relationship with Krishna in Dwarka, but in another form, with another Abhiman, they may attain the service of Radha and Krishna. So don't think that that Vaikuntha or Dwarka will become empty. Because associates from there, they all went to Vrindavan and now Dwarka is empty. It's not like this. So this is, it is just like, if you see the example in the conversation between Srila Haridas Thakur and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Haridas Thakur said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very worried about all the living entities. And Srila Haridas Thakur said, my Lord, don't be worried, because when Krishna comes to this world, he delivers everyone. And when you come, you also deliver everyone. So Mahaprabhu, hearing this, he was amazed, because it's a level of mercy that Supreme Lord keeps hidden within the heart. It doesn't speak about it. It's extremely confidential. So Mahaprabhu was amazed. How did Haridas Thakur know this confidential subject? So in the Shastra and as a general Siddhanta, it is said, oh, if anyone will go in Brahman, it's finished. If anyone will go to Vaikuntha, it's finished. All the living entities in this world, they're in the cycle of birth and death, and it's endless. But the truth is, there is a confidential dimension of the Lord's mercy. And so, it is not endless because the Lord will, He may liberate persons, He may liberate them from liberation, and those who have a particular destination, they may also get another higher destination as well. But generally, the Shastra does not speak in this way. These are extremely, extremely hidden and confidential subjects. Even to the point where our Madhvacharya said there are certain souls, they are damned. They will just be in the material world forever. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his associates, has revealed a softer side to the Supreme Lord. And the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. So you should consider the subject in this way. Is it clear? In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there's a chapter when Gop Kumar, he goes through the Brahma Jyoti and he sees the form of Vishnu. And he sees that Vishnu, he's surrounded by unlimited jivas all around him in the Brahma Jyoti. And those jivas, they are moving towards the Paramatma. And some are merging into him. So in the commentary on that discussion, even Gop Kumar, he could feel himself and said, no, I don't want to merge into the Ishvara Sayuja. So there he mentions that sometimes a person who's entered the Brahma Jyoti, but they have not entered into the Ishvara Sayuja, that experience of Ishvara Sayuja, then by the mercy of a great Vaishnava, they may also go to a further destination. Yeah. So you can read that commentary on that section of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Yes. Rasik Shekhar. Oh, wait. I should keep a balance. Ladies, who has a question among the ladies? Yes. Kandarpa Sundari.
Thank you, Srila Gurudev. So my question has 3 parts. The first part is it like this that every Mayavadi is impersonalist, but not every impersonalist is Mayavadi? So it's like...
Yes. Every Mayavadi is an impersonalist, but not every impersonalist is a Mayavadi. So, there's a difference between Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. The Brahmavadi, he knows that God is real. And the world, his Maya Shakti, his material energy, it's real also. It is the energy of the Supreme Lord. And only the living entities in this world, they have illusory understanding of the world. You understand? Like if a magician pulls a rabbit out of the hat, right? The hat is real and the rabbit is real, but he didn't really just pull the rabbit out of the hat from nothing. So the things are real, but our understanding of it is an illusion. So the Brahmavadi, he knows that there is God and God has energy and it's real and God is real. But due to his association and due to his sanskars, he has an inclination towards mukti, liberation. He developed the Jnananmukhi Sukriti by association. But the Mayavadi, Oh, and that person, by practicing bhakti, he may attain that liberation also. But a Mayavadi never gets liberated. Because a Mayavadi, Krishna aparadi, he's an offender to the Supreme Lord. He thinks that God is an illusion, bhakti is an illusion, this world is illusion. It actually doesn't exist at all. It's just a complete brahm, a mistake. So there's a difference between a Mayavadi and a Brahmavadi. Yes, next.
And there is this path, which is, I don't know if it's like a sampradaya or like a deviation path, but it's called now transcendental meditation, and this is by
What again?
transcendental meditation they call, and
Yes.
it's by Maharishi Yogi.
Yes.
And I think also the Beatles were like going to this guru before. And I wanted to ask which category is this in this path, and what can we do if one of our family members, close family members, are practicing this, and then if it's like impersonalism, we know that we shouldn't associate with person who are impersonalist, and we shouldn't talk about these subjects, but how we can deal with this thing.
Yeah, so the TM movement was established in the West by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and he's a yogi. So he teaches the philosophy more or less based on the Yoga Sutras and some mixture of modern science as well. You know, they established a university in America, in Fairfield, Iowa. So they have a university and they have a Vedic town there, and there are thousands of practitioners. They all live together there. They do TM. They try to get to yoga siddhis and do levitation as well. So they are teaching within the Vedic paradigm, because they also teach Jyotish and Vastu and Yoga Sadhana and so on. So in this way, they encourage people to cultivate Sattva Gun, the mode of goodness. So from a worldly point of view, it is a relatively superior to the way that ordinary people live in Kali Yuga today. Yeah? To live a disciplined life and develop Sattva Gun, all of these things, this is a better. It's commendable. And it brings people into the Vedic paradigm. He also translated Bhagavad Gita, but as far as I'm aware, only the first 6 chapters. The first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, because that culminates in Dhyana Yoga. But of course, at the end of the 6th chapter, Krishna said, Yogi namapi sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shadavam bhajate yomam samayuktatamo mata. Of all the yogis, the best is he who is serving me with great faith in the core of his heart. So, I remember, and they mainly put emphasis on the Brahma Jyoti. And they have so many maxims like, do less, achieve more. Because if you meditate, then you can manifest your dreams. So you can achieve more by doing less. And things like this. And how to be successful in life by attuning yourself to the field of infinite intelligence. Because buddhi, intelligence is an element. And it's also all-pervading. And so they have some ideas like this. Once someone came to my Gurudev and said, "What do you think of TM?" And he said, "MT." What do you think of TM? MT. He just turned it the other way. Right? Because if the goal is liberation, then this is emptiness. But I know one devotee, he was also practicing this long time ago, whatever, in the 70s. And he came to Maharishi and he told him, "I have been practicing this yoga, but I'm feeling not satisfied." And the Bhagavad Gita speaks about Bhakti. And Maharishi Yogi told him, "Yes, you are right. I am telling some basic things to help society, but Bhakti is the goal, so you should go to that Prabhupada." And then he went to Srila Prabhupada and became a devotee. So, you should understand what are the benefits from the relative sense, and also know that Bhakti is the swarup of the jiva. That is, to be Krishna's servant is the swarup of the jiva. That's the purpose. And if one does not attain that purpose, if other practices and ideas don't just serve as a stepping stone towards bhakti, then they have ultimately no value. But if they're part of the evolution of a person, and in many cases they are. Shukadev Goswami was a Brahmavadi. The 4 Kumaras were Brahmavadis. So it often acts as just a stage in the evolution of a person. But if someone becomes very much attached to that, then it will impede their progress. Okay, is that all 3 questions? Or you have another one? Then, because now the men will have 3 questions in a row.
That how can I deal with her? Like, is it okay to have her association? Because I feel that she's very attached to this, and like, I mean, I try to give her prasadam, and I hope that she will meet you. But
with this kind of persons, of course, you can give them prasadam. You can invite them to kirtan and to discussions in Bhagavad Gita, because they like Bhagavad Gita very much. And most people go through this impersonal yogi phase, and this is why I have also given many lectures on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, because mainly people they don't have a clear understanding of the psychology of yoga, and there are many points which overlap with our Vedanta and the cosmology and the psychology presented in the Yoga Sutras. That's why our acharyas, they quote from the Yoga Sutras. Vishwanath Thakur quotes from the Yoga Sutras in Madhurya Kadambini on psychological topics. Patanjali is not wrong about everything. He's right about many things. But in terms of sadhya and sadhan, it is not complete. Though there are hints. There are hints about God and surrender to God and so on. And the reality that the soul and God are distinct. It's not a complete, it is not Kevala Dvaitavad. The Yoga Sutras is dualistic. It's a dualistic metaphysics. The mature elements are not just a Brahm, a misconception. So it's a dualistic metaphysics. So there are many things about it which are correct. But the full understanding of the Vedas, Vedanta, the conclusion, is very difficult to extract from there. Also, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, they give options. He says that meditation on the Paramatma is the best, but if you want to meditate on something else, you can also choose that option. So, If you want to meditate on the sun, or on fire, or on a jewel, you can do that to concentrate your mind, but best is to meditate on the form of Paramatma. So, we see, Bhagavatam says that Patanjali is Bhagavat Priya, he is a great devotee. So you should understand that he was enlightened devotee, but he plays a role in the history of the unfoldment of Vedic knowledge to present a particular type of practice for those persons who don't have the sanskars for bhakti. And so those who want liberation, who want yoga siddhis, they become attracted to that and they get somewhat protected by rising up out of tamas and rajas and towards sattva. And they learn something, that the soul is not the body, that the soul is real, the world is real, God is eternal. You should surrender, do Ishvara Pranidhan, surrender to God. You should meditate on the syllable Om, which is a name of the Supreme Lord also, like this. And Baldev Vibhushan in Vedanta Sutra says, each of the sages who gave the 6 systems of classical systems of which yoga is one, they all knew everything. They're omniscient, but they've presented a particular idea for persons of different proclivities, different inclinations. And also, so that by comparing and contrasting them, one can come to understand the perfection and the beauty and the symmetry of the actual conclusion Vedanta. You know, just like Bhagavatam. The bhakti of Prahlad Maharaj has been described. The bhakti of Dhruva Maharaj has been described. The bhakti of Chitraketu Maharaj has been not because the point of the Bhagavatam is to become like Dhruva Maharaj, but by comparison, by Taratamya, we can come to know the greatness of the love of the gopis of Vrindavan. Understand? Understand? Yes or no? So it's a question of framing. If someone will frame the Yoga Sutras, this is the true teaching. Let's frame it within the context of yoga. Then they won't have a proper understanding. But if you frame the Yoga Sutras within the context of the whole history of great sages, then you see the role that it plays. Nyai gives us the ability to learn how to think clearly in various categories. Vaisheshik Darshan extends that also. The Yoga Sutras teaches that only by logic you cannot understand, because this Tarka Vitark is one kind of Chittavritti. And so you will have to actually have a practice to have a direct realization of something higher. Sankhya Darshan of Kapil actually prepares the ground for the Yoga Sutras by discussing Purush and Prakriti and the evolutes of Prakriti. Nyaya Darshan, Sankhya Darshan is atheistic. But Nyaya Darshan is theistic. In traditional Nyaya, there are 9 proofs that there must be God. You see? So, the Sankhya Darshan gives you the advantage of the analysis of Prakriti, the evolutes of Prakriti, which is useful for yoga. But the Nyaya, that is atheistic. But Nyaya logic is theistic. So the Yoga Sutras has the foundation of some Sankhya philosophy, but with the theism of Nyaya. So each one of the philosophies, it has its strengths and also its weaknesses. And if a person who is inclined to do vichar, philosophical deliberation, if you will go through them, then under the guidance of a teacher of Vedanta, then he can see the strengths and weaknesses of these ideas and how Vedanta is perfect. So by comparison, you come to the perfect metaphysical school. So similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam describes the creation, atrasaga visagascha, stanam poshnam utaya, all these different things. Why? Ultimately, to isolate the ashray. Ultimately, so that one will know the greatness of Krishna and his Leela in Vrindavan. That's why the other things are not just discussed for the purpose of those things in and of themselves. And so, with such persons, to educate them, don't try to cancel what they know, just try to expand their framework of reference. Understand? So when you say, should I associate with them? No. Don't take their association. Give your association. Understand? So when I say don't associate, that doesn't mean, oh, if you see one, you should run away. I've looked in the face of a Mayavadi because they're not the real Pakka Mayavadis. They don't know Vedanta, Kevala Dvaitavad like Prakashananda Saraswati. They're usually just confused hippies. They smoked the joint and listens to a Beatles record, and now they think they're enlightened. So just understand the limitations of their worldview and then expand by discussion, expand the framework, the frame of reference. So they understand they have learned something valuable, but Prabhu kahe, eho hai, agi keo a. This is the motto of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is all right, but say something more. Go further, go further. Understand? Problem is that devotees in the beginning, they have Komala Shraddha, their faith is weak. And they listen to someone and they think, oh, maybe this idea is okay. So this is why it's important to hear Siddhanta. Siddhanta boliye chite na karo alas. Jahoite Krishna lagi sudra manas. Don't be lazy when it comes to Siddhanta. You should know deeply Dasamul Tattva. And all the pramans from Shastra for Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, Bhakti Tattva. And the various arguments of Vedanta Sutra. And actually, all the sutras of Vedanta have been explained. Not in the same order, but they're explained by the dialogues in Srimad Bhagavatam. The dialogues between the various rishis and personalities in Srimad Bhagavatam give an elaborate explanation of each and every one of the sutras of Vedanta also. So don't be lazy. Study Siddhanta very carefully. Jiva Goswami has the obliterated Mayavad just on the basis of its own internal inconsistencies in Tattva Sandarbha and Sarva Sambhadini. And Baladeva Debushan in the Govinda Bhasya has obliterated Mayavad on the basis of Shastra. There are two approaches. One is you can show by Shastra that impersonalism is wrong. And the other is you can, even without depending on Shastra, you can show that impersonalism is wrong by exposing its own internal contradictions. So our acharyas have done both types of deconstruction of that position. Yes. Rasikshetra.
Hare Krishna. Dear Sri Gurudev, I had a question about the nature of Raganuga Bhakti and the speciality of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we see in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ama Vina Anyanare Vraja Premadite. Only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, only me I can distribute pure Vraja Prema. So, but we see that also in the past, it was present Raganuga Bhakti, because for example, in one of the four Sampradayas, two of their main points, one of them, I think in the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, one of their points is Raganuga Bhakti, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from them. And then also, like we can see that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna is giving sometimes he's giving mercy only to those who are qualified. For example, we can see the Pulindi girls, or we can see the Mathura Ramani, and so different cases. And so my question was also, we know that and this is connected, Madhurya Ras, also there were sadhakas who wanted to get Madhurya Ras, but I know this was only in the opulent aspect, was possible before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yesterday Damodar Vilas made a question about different types of gopis, Nityasaki, Paramprasasaki, and which one sadhakas could enter. So is it that, because Manjari Bhav is given only in one time each day of Kalpa, only after the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, Sanatana. So, is it that, person could already obtain the form of a gopi, not of a manjari, but maybe with some opulence or not, before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And was Raganuga Bhakti already present or not? Really was distributed or not?
So in the Ragavatma Chandrika, there it says Purva Para Kara Vichar, that one should follow the Mahajans, the great personalities, but you should make a distinction between Purva and Para, the previous Mahajans and the latter Mahajans. So the previous Mahajans are Bilvamangal Thakur, Jayadev Goswami, the sages of Dandakaranya, the Vedas personified. And the later Mahajans, they are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. So we are following the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Why? Because through them, Mahaprabhu has opened the path to enter into Manjari Bhav. Whereas those previous personalities, they were sometimes in Sakhi Bhav, but also in Naika Bhav. For example, the Vedas personified, they became Naikas, they became heroines to meet with Sri Krishna. But first of all, the Vedas, they Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. The Vedas come from the breathing of the Lord. So the Vedas personified, they're not ordinary jivas. Right? And they became Nayakas. The sages of Dandakaranya, they are jivas, but very, very qualified, and they're in the Leela. So being in the Leela, there are extraordinary mercies. They were in the Leela of Lord Ramachandra. And in the Leela, then there is extraordinary mercy which is available, that is no longer available after the Leela becomes apricot. Like Putana, she disguised herself as a Brijbasi, and Krishna gave a position like a mother. But if you disguise yourself as a Brijbasi, it will not have any effect. So there's a difference between distribution in the Leela and the line continuing to distribute it. And some extraordinary circumstance that that's not exactly a distribution. You see? That's why that verse says, Yuga Dharma my answers can establish the Dharma for the whole Yuga. Understand? But only I can establish such a line that will distribute Braja Prem. You understand? So, if during the Leela someone got Braj Prem, that's not the same as distributing throughout a whole Yuga by establishing a sampradaya for distributing through everyone. Understand the difference? So, there are some rare personalities who appeared in this world. They were eternal associates. And so they have manifested Nayika Bhav or sometimes Sakhi Bhav. But we don't see that they have a line which is being distributed everywhere. Another thing is this, that in the Nayika Bhav, in previous ages when great Mahajans, someone attained the Nayika Bhav, to be a Nayika, that means you're not in Radharani's group. Because Radharani is the heroine in her group. Sakhis are not Nayikas. They can play the role of Nayikas on Radhika's request sometimes. But they're Sakhis. So this is one thing. And so, Mahaprabhu is giving such a position to enter into Radhika's group and become the Dasi of Radhika. So that means that one can realize the sweetness of Krishna to such a degree. The gopis in other groups, they don't realize Krishna in that way. They don't have such a profound realization. And even a person in Sakhi Bhav, though their love is great, but they cannot be there when Radha and Krishna are together, so they don't get that chance to be vyapt, to be completely pervaded by Madanakya Mahabhav, Radhika's mood, at the time of her very close meeting with Sri Krishna. So what Mahaprabhu has given is the very highest, topmost relishment of the sweetness of Radha and Krishna. And it was never given before. Even though there were some great personalities, very rare personalities throughout history, like Jayadev Goswami. He's eternal associate of the Lord, and he's described the Sakhi Bhav. But we don't see that from Jayadev Goswami any sampradaya. So these things are to be, these are Vaishishta to be considered. There's some speciality in the Purva Mahajans and the Para. The previous ones and what Narottam Das Thakur is calling the modern ones, because Narottam Das Thakur himself, he was a Shiksha disciple of Jiva Goswami. And he was a direct Diksha disciple of Lokanath Das Goswami. So when he says the later ones, which are the present, his contemporaries, he means the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan and those close to them, like his own Diksha Guru. Lokanath Das Goswami is the incarnation of Manjulali Manjari, who is one of the Astasakis, Astamanjaris. No, the men have to have 3 more questions in a row. Yes. Yes, Ruhu.
Thank you. Haribol? Oh. So, first question is regarding an episode that happened a few weeks ago. I was engaged in one sweeping seva in the evening, and I was approached by a group of Gurukul children, and
this Gurukul.
yes,
Yes.
and they told me I should not be sweeping. So I'm engaged in Guru Seva. I'm supposed to be doing this, but they said no, not nighttime. you can't sweep in the night. I said, why? Where is this written? Is this? They said, oh, it's in Bhagavad Purana. Okay, can you tell me where and what's the verse, the Shastra? And they couldn't tell me the exact verse, but they said, oh, if you sweep in the nighttime, then you will lose all your money and no more money will come to you. And so my internal mood was like, am I really qualified to receive such a blessing? But externally, I simply shunned it off like, yeah, I don't have any money anyway, so that's fine. I mean, it's Guru Seva. So I was wondering if you could perhaps help me identify where, if this is actually in Shastra, where it is located.
They are karma kanda Brahmins doing karma to get money. So they're interested in this subject. This is not interesting for us. There's no such verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is for Paramahamsas, not for karma kandas. The second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma Prajita Kaitavatra, says all cheating dharma is kicked out of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is for Paramahamsas. So don't worry. This is you see, the power of association. If you'll associate with someone who has a karma kanda mindset, then you pick up all types of nonsense. So Narottam Das Thakur says, karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala bishara bandha. The mentality and the teaching of karma kanda and the jnana kanda, this is just a big pot of poison. So we have nothing to do with this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So in one lecture about Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Wait. You had your question. Saranga Thakur.
I don't know if there is enough time to answer to
If
this.
you have multiple questions, you should balance and see which one's more important in your life. Yes.
Well, I would like to ask since a long time about who is more merciful, Sri Goura Nitai or Jagannath, because we heard about the Nirlaksha Udara of Sri Goura Nitai, and we also know that Jagannath is Patita Pavana. So actually, many times, once I heard from you, but not so much, that there is a kind of competition between them. So if you could explain some, I don't know, some different, I don't, some suggestion to say that Sri Goura Nitai is superior or Jagannath?
Who is more merciful, Goura Nitai or Jagannath Dev? Goura Nitai. Namo Mahabhadanya Krishna Prema Padai. Mahaprabhu is the most merciful incarnation. But the form of Mahaprabhu, who makes Mahaprabhu available to everyone, his Prakash, and that Prakash who does the Prakash, the illumination of the mercy of Mahaprabhu, that is Nityananda Prabhu. So no one is more merciful than Nityananda Prabhu, but don't get too dualistic about this. Nityananda Prabhu, just as Balaram is Krishna, but he's Vaibhav Prakash. So the Nityananda Prabhu is the Vaibhav Prakash of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who reveals the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So no one is more merciful than Goura Nitai. In regard to Lord Jagannath, he's Patit Pavan, he's very merciful. That's wonderful. But no one is more merciful than Goura Nitai. And you should not go into a sectarian position of taking a side here and taking a side there. by the mercy of Advaita Acharya, who is the divine synthetic personality. One should come to understand the place that all the forms of the Lord play in the one total reality. Jai Shri Guru Karanga Ganda Vikagardari Shri Radha Shamsundar Juki Jai. Wow. Beautiful. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has the astonishing Leela in Jagannath Puri with Lord Jagannath. When he comes before Lord Jagannath, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Mahaprabhu asked him to sing. And Swarup Damodar Goswami began to sing. Sayato Parananata Painu Jaha Lagi Madana Dahine Juriganu. That means say, He is my pran, and I have attained him. That means when Mahaprabhu is looking at Lord Jagannath, he's not seeing Lord Jagannath. Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani, and he's experiencing, I am Radharani. And looking at Lord Jagannath, Sayato Pran, and I have attained my Pran. Radharani is looking at Krishna. She knows. She knows, this is my Pran, Krishna of Vrindavan. But how sad. Here he is with no peacock feather, no flute, no Jamuna, no Govardhan. No gopis, dressed like a king. He must be suffering so much. And I was being burnt by the fire of Cupid in his absence, and now I have attained him. So, there should not be an exclusive mentality. There should be inclusive mentality. Yes, it's true. Goura Nitai are more merciful than Lord Jagannath. But that does not mean that we remove Jagannath from our life. Because without this beautiful pastime of Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath at Rath Yatra, then it will be very difficult for the fire of the separation, the intense desire to serve Radha and Krishna in Braja, to be awakened in the heart. This pastime is so important. It is so essential for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So much so that my Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshamaraj, he made Rath Yatra festival in Navadvip. And even some persons criticized him. They even printed magazines criticizing, why do Rath Yatra in Navadvip? Why? Because of this faulty mentality, wrong mentality. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's journal actually was started by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and continued by Prabhupada. What is it called? The Harmonist. The Uttam Bhagavats, the Mahabhagavad Vaishnavas, they know the place and position of everything, and all comes into the harmony of one reality. And the basis of that one reality is the love and service to Radha and Krishna. That is the basis of everything. But that one-pointedness of devotion to Radha Krishna is not a license to become fanatical and sectarian. That is a misunderstanding. So our Ishtadev is only Radha and Krishna. And the Goura Nitai are more merciful than Jagannath. But don't make aparad to Jagannath Dev. This Leela in Jagannath Puri is amazing. Amazing. In the Padma Purana, in the verse, Sampradaya Vahina Yen Mantraste Nishvalamata, there it is said, Hyut Kale Purushottamat. And the mercy of the Lord will come through 4 sampradayas. And the whole world will be delivered in Kali Yuga. And this gift to the world will manifest from Purushottam, Jagannath Puri Dham. So this has been interpreted in different ways. One meaning is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his teaching, the conclusion of Vedanta, to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The perfect conclusion of Vedanta were in Purushottam. So Mahaprabhu's philosophical, actual darshan presentation, refuting Shankar and giving the essential Vedanta, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, which is the synthesis of the Vedanta of the 4 sampradayas, synthesized and completed and perfected. It was in Puri. Also, the Bhakti movement in the modern age is spread all over the world. But from where? Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur appeared in Jagannath Puri. And he made the mission that eventually spread all over the world. Hyut Kale Purushottamat means that in the Prakat Lila, we don't see that Mahaprabhu has initiated the mission of the Anarpita Charim Chirat Prem in Navadvip, in the Prakat Lila. In the Nitya Lila, Rup Sanatan, the 6 Goswamis, they're all there in Navadvip also. But in the Prakat Lila, then the Goswamis, they don't even meet Mahaprabhu until the Naimitic Lila comes, until he accepts sannyas and goes to Puri. And then after that, he meets with Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. You see? And so, in the Prakat Lila, the distribution of the Anapita Chirim Chirat Prem, it is a Purushottama, Hut Kale Purushottamat. So these are some of the meanings that our acharyas have given to interpreting the Puri Lila and the glories of Jagannath Puri and Mahaprabhu's pastimes with Lord Jagannath. Otherwise, without the specific contribution of Lord Jagannath, then generally the persons who are worshipping Lord Jagannath, they attain some Mahavaikuntha mood to Krishna, but in Dwarka. Because Puri is the Hare Krishna, Radhisha. The Dwarka is Puri is the Prakash of Dwarka, and Krishna is Dwarkadish to the general vision. But we see even in the Jagannathastakam of Shankaracharya, Kajat Chit Kalindi Vana Vipina Sangita Karavu. In the beginning, it is said, sometimes Lord Jagannath is playing on the bank, playing his flute on the bank of the Jamuna River. So, that connection of Lord Jagannath with the Vrindavan Leela is even there in the Jagannath Astakam. But also within the Astakam, there's a lot of opulence as well. And so the pure Ragamag is, it cannot be extracted from that puja of Lord Jagannath without the influence of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and his Leela with Lord Jagannath, and seeing, relating to Lord Jagannath through the eyes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Yeah. So just be careful. Don't have the prickly heart and the mental stiffness to go, because sometimes person thinks, I am so one-pointed, I am so ananya, that they actually develop a negative mentality to other things. So the positive mentality of one-pointedness to Radha and Krishna doesn't mean a negative mentality to other things, but rather we should follow what our Goswamis have written and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then we realize the role that Lord Jagannath and the other Leelas play in the total vision of reality. Like now, we are studying Mukta Charita. Where is this Mukta Charita based? Yeah, the goal is Radha Krishna in Vrindavan, but the conversation is taking place between Krishna and Satyabhama in Dwarka. Brihad Bhagavatamrita is a very big pastime of Narad Muni when he goes to Dwarka, and Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka. Lalit Madhav, also so much Dwarka Lila there. But its purpose is to incite and intensify our focus and deep hankering for the service of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So see things in this way. Gaur Premanande.